Greetings and salutations, and welcome to another Dragon Barrows video. This video, it is not in a response to, but was inspired by Matt Baum, a fantastic homosexual and bisexual YouTube commentator and pop culture enthusiast when it comes to the H and the B of society, of political, of not political, but of TV and other such things. And this is also this is like a tribute to four amazing women: Bea Arthur, Rue McClanahan, Betty White, and Estelle Getty. Put them all together, you got the Golden Girls. What makes the Golden Girls great? They ran for quite a lengthy period of time. And I won't go over what Matt Baum said about the wonderful, the awesome foursome. But it did go on for 7 years, actually 6.5. September of 1985 to May of 1992. 6.5 rounded up to 7 years. What made this TV show great in my mind is that whoever to the wonderful creator Susan Harris, thinking about putting four, more basically three middle-aged women and one senior-aged woman, one lady, together in a house. The other side of menstrual cycles, and the other side of other other things that you wouldn't have been thought of that era. With and it's just like the characters themselves. Bea Arthur, the tall, powering figure. I looking at her and thinking that she like the I know I'm treading on a bit of Matt's toes here, but you definitely see some of that military, military army sort of characteristics coming through Bea Arthur's character in Dorothy Petrillo. Sorry, Dorothy Spornak. And it's just you just know that it was so much that characteristics just popped right out in Senior, and it's just so and as well as you look at if you look at the Rose Nyland character that Betty White played. Well, Betty White used to play a lot of hubba hubba, give me some of that sugar love sort of vibe. But for her to flip the script and to play Rose Nyland, this Norwegian American, or from this town, uh, St. Olaf in Minnesota. I It's just so amazing, and I think that with the Nordic language, the way it was portrayed, I think that uh, they could have gotten away with using some Nordic, like some sort of like how Robin Williams was in Mork. Like he could have like that could have been like doing some sort of Nordic insults or something like that. Like your father loves to make love to a donkey's ass, where your mother loves to have dog liquor on the liquor on the clit. It is that sort of language disturb this like sort of thing that I believe could have been a fine thing to do with that sort of character. And with Rue McCallahan's character Blanche Devereaux, like just to look at Rue like Rue McCallahan, freaking hell! You just had this beautiful woman who, in other projects, would have just been like the shy at the back sort of character, like she has had done in various various projects with Betty White and other such people. But again, with the Betty White playing Rose Nyland, like the flipping of the script is a brilliant idea, and to see that like just how it's not she doesn't go the S like the Jersey Shore or some other sort of these sort of uh, like these sort of women of the night sort of characteristics when it comes to this sort of uh, heavy lusting sort of woman. Like I just see like this character, like being so powerful, so brilliant, so amazing, and and also lastly on that list, Estelle Getty playing Sophia Petrillo. It's just so brilliant to put that uh, to put that sort of immigrant sensation in there. As a son of an immigrant, like my father came from India back in 1968, when he was no more than a 16-year-old boy, like 16-year-old kid, and like he'll tell me stories of the old country, like India. In my case, I say the fatherland. For me, fatherland is India. I'm not speaking about Germany. I speak about India when I say the fatherland. The fatherland for me is where my father grew up and where he done a lot of things in his earlier year. Just to think about how brilliant that the Sophia character is. I honestly believe that she like in the real world could have actually been so understanding, so loving, kind, and compassionate. Because growing up, like seeing World War II or seeing like the war before that, that also happened in Europe, would have uh, would have made someone like a Sophia Petrillo think, if you're not hurting me, it's fine. You can do your own thing. And for her to lament and to think about uh, her husband Sal Petrillo, it's it's a wonderful thing for for that character to do. Like just that sort of thinking, thinking, grieving, loving. For the exception of B. Arthur's character, Dorothy Spornak, uh, the others have lost their husbands. Betty, like Betty White's character, Rose Nyland, she was she was just thinking about her beloved Charlie, thinking about how handsome he was, how much he did a lot to help her out during their lifetime, and like just thinking about when her husband passed away, she moved to Miami, just to retire and just to get out of that sort of mindset. Like I know that mindset only too well because for 23 years I was my mum and dad's carer. Like I just still think about my mum and dad to this day, and like my mum, like as soon as my father passed, I knew for a fact that I had to leave where I was. Though it wasn't from me moving state, I moved into different council areas. I was once in the Liverpool council area. Now I'm living in the city of Sydney council district. So I've virtually changed my whole life around, and that's what I see with this Betty White character. And I do see that. And I do see a similar situation, like similar characteristics that I share with Rue McCallaghan's character Blanche Devereaux. Like as I may mention, I was my parents' carer for 23 years, and when my father passed away this past May, like with all the stuff I couldn't do being my parents' carer, I can now do now. Like I don't sleep around with different women. That's just stupid and wrong. Or nor do I lust after different women because my beautiful girlfriend has put me up in her own apartment, which is amazing, and I feel blessed for. And like I can think about going to different beaches. I can think about spending the day out with my girlfriend on over the weekend. I can think about traveling to different locations. I can travel interstate. I can travel international. Things I wasn't able to do. It's not a matter of me being man hungry or self-absorbed. I look at it as a way that I can live my life. I'm not saying that with my parents not being here is a good thing. Like it's going to be pretty hard. Just say like when my girlfriend and I get married, I would have loved to have my parents there to see that happen, to see like their grandchild come like from my if my girlfriend and I can have kids, seeing that firstborn child, and I'll be able to say, Dad, Mum, this is your grandchild, and like my children will miss out on that. sort of love in that as well. And it's just so it's just that sort of love and that's a sort of like exploratory thinking I can do now. It's sad to think that it's sad that my parents had to die before I can do this. But now I do have the ability to do this. And to a point, I can see like the B. Arthur Dorothy Spornak sort of character too. Like I'm nowhere from divorce, nor do I care to think about divorce now because I really wanted to get married to my girlfriend. But after how my mother was treated by her own parents, uh, me, and the death of my mom, then now the death of my father, I have seen. Like, I've become a bit more sarcastic, I've become a lot more. A bit more practical, I've become a lot more I've become short tempered. I do follow the current events, and I am pretty blunt with jokes, and I do love reading jokes with a bit of a blunt, with blunt or to the point. So there are various aspects of each of the Golden Girls that I can relate to. More so, the Rose Nyland character is 50-50 between the Rose Nyland character and the Blanche Devereaux character. I am 50-50 with that, with a little bit of B. Arthur, with a little bit of Dorothy Spornak in there. And just to think about like the and just to think about like most of the footage is shown either in the kitchen or in the lounge room, come like the big lounge room sort of environments, which I find to be they're just looking at the same thing over and over and over again. It's like you can look at this sort of thing and just think, oh, what? How can each character interact in this sort of way? Like, for instance, people walking through a door. That's like a vague premise. My girlfriend and I walk through that door every day, or mostly every day. Like we walk through the door, see what needs to be done, has to do it, do it. But it's just within those different, like just the little added extras to the vagueness that makes uh, the Golden Girls to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, TV show based around the elderly or like middle-aged to elderly sort of demographic. And especially with the theme song, like with the theme song, "Thank You for Being a Friend." It is one of the most beautiful theme songs I've ever had a chance of listening to. With it's just like that song. It it does give you a chance to think. Like just with the line says travel down a road and back again. That is like like actually the opening says, "Thank you for being a friend. Traveled down a road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant." Like these four women have literally traveled down the road of life and seen what they can do and what they are like. They've seen what they've done, and for them to come together, they've become friends, and they've become confidants because they confide in each other with different through different things, like Rose with AIDS, and Blanche dating someone who's a criminal, and or uh, Dorothy falling in love with someone and she wanting to say goodbye to that sort of chapter in her life. Uh, Sophia's character nearing the end of her life, it's just thinking about those sort of dynamics in as you are just thinking about just the opening the opening uh, verse. Then it goes on to say, "I'm not ashamed to say I hope it will stay this way. My hat is off. You won't understand. You won't stand up and take a bow." So won't you stand up and take a bow? It's like saying throughout what you've done, you should be able to be. You shouldn't be ashamed of what you've done. I'm not ashamed of being my parents' carer for 23 years. Like can stand up and I can take my hat off and give a bow and be proud of what I've done and be proud of what I am going to do later on in life. Then it goes, "And if you threw a party, invite everyone you knew, well, you would be the biggest. Well, you would see the biggest gift from me, and a card attached would say, 'Thank you for being a friend.'" There's only for me. There's only only a very small circle of people that can actually do that in my life, and one of them has been this woman I've known since I was in year 4, back in 1993. Actually, my repeat year of 1994. Like she and I went through year 4, year 5, year 6 together. We went through high school together. She did her thing, I've done my thing, but we've still been together, and I would say thank you for being a friend. She's actually more like my sister than anything else. So that's what another thing I see in the Golden Girls. They are not just friends; they are like a family with a twisted matriarch in Sophie Petrillo, the woman who wants to relive her youth in Blanche Devereaux, a woman who loves to think about the past in Rose Nyland, and a woman who wants to kick her ex's backside so much that she wants to kill him through ignoring his sexual advances and showing off the latest woman of the day. And again, and like continuing with the song, it goes, and when we both get older, with walking canes and grey and hair of grey, have no fear, even though it is hard to hear. I will stand real close and say thank you for being a friend. The same thing within that very small circle that I have now. I'm 41. Next year I'll be turning 42. All these people that I've got into this very small circle have been with me for over 20 years. And I am proud to call them my friend. I'm proud to call them my part of my non-blood family. There's another part of that, but it's not. It's irrelevant to this video. And like this final part of the song I'll be reading out to you actually makes sense to me now because I've seen it. I've seen it happen with my mum's passing and my father's passing. It goes, and when we die and float away into the night and the Milky Way, you'll hear me call as we ascend. I will see you there once again. Thank you for being a friend. That is such an emotional song, and such a song with great gravitas, and for this and for like a TV show with like a TV show that is like built is literally like this, a sitcom. Usually sitcoms mean situation comedy, but to have such an emotionally charged song, you to put them both together, it actually works well. Usually you don't see that sort of that sort of sitcom with that sort of gravitate, like that sort of song with great gravitas. Though it is sung in a much of a higher beat, but still you still have it as a more. It's more of that sort of. You're looking at. You're thinking, okay, that's like that song is deep for this sitcom, and I would not suggest to change the theme song for anybody. It's, and for and for now to think that Betty White, the last of the Golden Girls, have passed away earlier on this year, at the tail end of last year, just 17 days before her 100th birthday. You would think that such a wonderful cast of, I would say, a family of characters would now be up there joking, telling stories of what they used to do on the show to saying what they used to do out in public. And to be honest with you, I'm just so happy to have watched this show throughout its tenure. And to me, the show actually reflects what more or less like my mother's life. And it's just, again, just so amazing to think that such a show was put together so brilliantly and so thoughtfully. It's just so amazing. Again, I use that word amazing. It's like just amazing to think that all of this wonderful talent got together and worked on this project to the point where it stopped being a sitcom to becoming I would have to say, in the realms of pantheon status. And it's very rare for a show to be on that level. MASH is up there as well, with Loretta Swift and Alan Alda, with Wayne Rogers and G.W. Bailey, of all people. Yes. That G.W. Bailey from Police Academy. And to think that if this was rewritten today, for today's sort of, not like, if this can be rewritten for today, because there are children, like there are bisexual sort of thoughts. There are like children with have like people with bisexuality issues. People have issues about religion. Like there's I think it was Dorothy Spornak's son wanted to marry a black woman. And Blanche Devereaux's brother wanted to marry a man. Those are two hard-hitting even with Rose Nylund having AIDS, or allegedly having AIDS. Those sort of things are still relevant today. And I see that, let me see. You can do a bisexual sort of thing. You can actually do quite a lot of things to show that this sort of storylines and arcs could work. Like the Blanche Devereaux character could be rewritten as a woman who has lost her wife. She got married in her 50s back in the 90s. It's been nearly 30 plus years later, and her wife for 30 years have passed away. But yeah, she still has that sort of lesbian love affair with different women. And they could have changed do a change of dynamic with the Rose Nylund sort of character, where the Rose Nylund character could be rewritten as a woman with like mental health issues, who's had her husband who took care of her for many years uh, pass pass away, and she feels like she's left alone. And then you could have like the Sophie Petrillo and Dorothy Spornak sort of characters, where like just say like the modern day version of Dorothy Spornak could be a transsexual male, like a man, like transsexual woman, someone who's changed sex, and having that mother figure that still loves them no matter who they are. I see that sort of dynamic happening in today's reboot of the Golden Girls. But whatever topics and that was done back in the day still ring true today. And I'm not saying that because of one reason, or like I'm not saying that because it's true. I'm saying it because like my parents went through it with the mixed race sort of couple. My parents' friends went through a similar situation with having their partners pass away, but then they got together and got married, and just like these sort of situations are still relevant today as they were back then. And this is what makes the Golden Girls in the pantheon of great TV shows. Great characters, great stories, and relevant to today, even though it was written and shot in the mid 80s and the last shot was done in the early 90s. I say that this sort of show needs to come back and needs to show people why these topics are relevant. If you don't want to call them the Golden Girls, call them something else. Trust me when I say this, I will watch it. I am Dragon. I'm the I'm the Dragon Barrows, here to say peace, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.